Good day and welcome back to the Yellow Couch. I have with me a fantastic guest. I've got with us John Sicilima. He is the Chief Business Officer, Axian Group, Tigo Tanzania. For those that maybe don't know, there's a whole big piece of work that's been going on behind the scenes, a big merger. So Axian Group, Zantel and Tigo are all under the same umbrella. I think we'll hear more about it. Karibu sana, John.
Asante, Ella. Thank you so much for having me at the famous Yellow Couch.
Oh, yes. I'm glad we're famous.
And by the way, you're one of the few who gets my name pronounced right.
Really?
Yeah, you know, because most people usually say Sicilima.
Yeah.
And you're one of the few who actually says Sicilima. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And now you've all learned his real name. Just ask, guys. Good to see you. Good to have you here.
Asante sana.
So I'm looking forward to learning from you. I particularly want to really deep dive into your career path and your leadership journey. You're such an accomplished person, growing very swiftly in your career. And I think, as you know, the Yellow Couch is a place where we all like to learn and learn how we can all grow as well. So my first question to you is, being now where you are as Chief Business Officer, was this a dream? Is this something that you've strategically and intentionally planned as, you know, a destination or a path of your career, or has this been a happy accident?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting question, and it takes me down memory lane, basically of how this started. You know, it first started with my interest in communications and computers. This started back in the 90s, and basically, you know, funny enough, I actually remember, you know, my father purchasing, you know, a computer, one of those big ones. It was an HP Packard, and you know, during those days, that was actually a very, you know, complex but also important thing. So it usually was put on a table,
right,
with wheels. So basically, yeah. So basically, you know, my father worked in Dar es Salaam while I was in Morogoro, and they used to straw that on the weekend when he's around. It comes out, and then me and my siblings start using it. And now we basically wanted to play games, but my father always, you know, put math programs in there, you know, educative stuff. So that was really the first time I became fascinated in communications.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize it, but then after that, you know, I started, you know, just becoming interested in the sciences.
Yes.
So when I went to primary level education, you know, I pursued sciences. When I went to secondary education, you know, I studied, you know, sciences as well.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, when I started to become more self-aware, then I pursued, you know, engineering.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I actually, you know, got from, you know, fascination in computers and actually studying engineering. And then sooner or later, then I realized actually, you know, there are a number of industries that use communications. You know, the telco sector, the banking sector, you know, hospitality, basically everything now uses communication.
Yeah.
But then that took me to telecom.
Right.
Basically, because you know, one of the most intense focused on communication industry is telecoms.
Yeah.
So that's how I got to telecoms. And then I really did not plan early on to do business or become a chief business officer, but I really had a passion for delivering things.
Yes.
So I always wanted to see the end state, you know, the result. As an individual, as a person, that's the way I like to run things. And then in my first role, it was a role basically that involved, you know, networking, and this is like connectivity, you know, and networking. And that role, you basically spoke to almost everyone in the company to get the job done.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So even though I didn't have a team, but basically I interacted with everyone.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so it became a role with a lot of requirements, a lot to do, and it was one of those roles which was really quite open. Though your job is to get, you know, a link running, a network running, but actually to get it running, you have to talk to, you know, planning. You have to talk to some person in commercial because they are under pressure to deliver.
Yeah.
You know, you have to talk to, you know, procurement because the supplier didn't deliver something. So that actually went on.
Yeah.
And normally what usually happens at that stage of a career, everybody's like, you know, no, but I'm just, you know, an engineer.
Yeah.
And then they wait for the boss to actually go and talk to procurement. It was a bit different with me.
Yes.
But I also thank, you know, the leadership because they allowed me to explore, and that's the way Tigo Zantel is.
Yes.
You are allowed to actually explore.
Yeah.
You're allowed to chase things on your own.
Yeah.
So if you have your target set to deliver something, you could actually go and chase everyone and talk to them, make them understand why you need that thing done.
Right.
So because of that, I got to learn a lot early on. I got to learn a lot, and the learnings that I got without knowing actually helped me through the career ladder.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what actually happened. And then, so I got more responsibilities.
Yeah.
I was given a regional role. So I actually worked in Millicom Group back then.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I got to work with different, African countries.
Were you based here? Or?
No, I was based in London.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was based in London.
Yeah.
And then again, I didn't have a team.
Yeah.
It was me working with teams.
I'm seeing a theme here.
Yeah, you see it. So I didn't have a team. It was me working with teams.
Yeah.
But then, because I realized that, to get things done, you need a team to do it.
Yes.
So I actually developed the skill set of actually becoming self-aware that I can't do this.
Yes.
It's others who get it done.
Yeah.
So this is how I actually learned leadership.
Yes.
I actually learned leadership because I understood early on, you get things done through other people.
Yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter whether they report to you or not, but actually you still need to work with everybody to get the job done.
It's such an important lesson, I think, because sometimes we misconstrue leadership as I am in charge or I am directing X, Y, Z people to do this, but it's really about influencing. And that's what I'm hearing from you, is you've had the art of getting to know what everybody needs and influencing them to also deliver your project.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's spot on. And if I was to pick out 3 things I learned, during my career. So number 1, I'm a fan of the basic Swahili saying umoja ni nguvu.
Yeah.
So what umoja ni nguvu means for me is basically you need to get people to actually get things done, especially companies, because the walls do not talk. It's the people who talk. It's the people who, execute various, objectives of the company.
Yeah.
So this is the first thing, and I'm very self-conscious to understand actually, you need people to get things done.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I would say.
So that looks like what? That's relationship management. That's getting to know people. Like,
Yes,
give us the how.
It's stakeholder management.
Yeah.
Getting to, you need to listen. You need to listen and learn from people.
Yes.
Because it's not always what you think is right.
point.
And so you need to learn. You need to do active listening.
Yes.
It's not just listening, it's active listening.
Yeah.
Learning, and then you give back. And then through that learning, basically is how you actually get things done.
Yeah.
So that's very important.
Yeah.
But the other thing which I think I learned was that we are all unique, and it's not just saying we are all unique. It's actually people have got different things to give.
Yeah.
And we all have got areas we can improve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So during that course, of working with people, you understand that actually, I'm good at that, but I'm not so good at that. And then you learn and then you improve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that that's on your side.
Yes.
Because for me, it starts with you.
Very true.
And then it follows with the other party.
Yeah.
So with the other party now, it's pretty much if you're the leader now, how do you improve? How do you support them? How do you enable them to actually be able to do? And then through this whole stakeholder, engagement, is actually that's how I think influence is actually built, and then you're able to lead.
I love it. I like how you've just deconstructed it and unpacked it. There's a part that's you and plugging your gaps, but then there's a part of learning from others and inspiring others, I guess, as well.
Definitely.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So what has been, you've shared a few already, but what would you say is the one key, biggest lesson that you've learned in your journey so far?
Yeah, so I think the lesson for me has been, more of how to lead.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest lesson.
Yeah.
And it's, as a leader, I think the biggest thing is to help the organization navigate.
Yeah.
So navigation for me has been a very key lesson.
Yeah.
Because, the world changes.
Yeah.
You might have a plan today, and then, something happens, remember, look what happened with COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, as a leader, your job is to navigate and, keep the steady course.
Yeah.
Everybody understanding, what they need to do in terms of the objective and vision of the organization, but then really support everyone to actually get there. So for me, navigation has really been key. It's a key lesson, and I keep learning by the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that brings me very nicely, perfect segue into my next question. Talking about this kind of huge merge that is ongoing now, which you are at the center of, really, I think, from what I understand in your role. So leading through change now, looking at that topic, as a Chief Integration Officer, which I believe has been part of your role, right?
Yeah, so this was...
Tell us about that. What is that?
Yeah, so I was the Chief Integration Officer before becoming the Chief Business Officer. And this started when we decided to merge Tigo and Zantel.
Yes.
So it's one big family,
Yes.
Tigo Zantel.
Yes.
And you know, I think the most important part was getting the objectives right. You know, what do we want to do, and the objectives from day one was actually to have one big family.
Yes. So the people side.
The people side, exactly.
Right.
The best
Okay.
of both worlds.
Yes.
So I would say that was the most important thing, getting the objectives right. And then getting the objectives right, number one, again, was the people. And you've got different areas of people. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you got one part which is, you know, our staff, which are very important in the center of everything we do.
Yeah.
And then you also have got other stakeholders, you know, like the investors, you know, what
Yeah.
do the investors want?
Yeah.
And then you've got the leadership, you know, the executives. And then after, you know, setting our objectives right, whereby people was number one, by the way.
Yes.
And then we also looked at, you know, what do we do?
Yeah.
And this is delivering, you know, our products and services to our consumers.
Yeah.
You know, improving people's lives, you know, through communication. That's what we do. So then products and services was key.
Yeah.
And then we also understood that processes were also key.
Yeah.
To make sure that everything is running.
Yeah.
So first was to get the objectives right, and then was to establish clarity,
Yeah.
which is most important. So people have to understand why this change is happening,
Yeah.
and this happens through engagement.
Yeah.
So after getting the right objectives set, the right priorities, the next part was making sure that everybody had clarity.
Yeah.
And this started from top with the investors, you know, with the executives,
Yeah.
going down all the way to the heads and to the people who actually do the job. And through that engagement, everybody understood, you know, what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And was basically get one big family, the best of both worlds, in this Tigo Zantel.
Yeah.
And then after that, having a governance framework
Yeah.
that actually supports, you know, and ensure that everybody at the different levels is accountable.
Yes.
Because the accountability doesn't only sit with, you know, the exco.
Yeah.
You have different levels of accountability that sits, you know, throughout the heads,
Of course.
all the way to the person who actually does the job.
Yes.
And then the governance framework basically supported us to ensure that we went through this change together. And if I was to wrap it up, I think that's how we went through it.
Amazing. I mean, it sounds very structured, layered, but also it goes back to what you're saying about leadership. How do you get people to be on board and do things and continue to do things even through uncertainty? But I have to, maybe it's my role to do this, but just to challenge you a little bit further. Obviously, when change comes, not everyone receives it the same way, right? Some people really resist, some people embrace, some people are somewhere in the middle. How did you navigate kind of those kind of situations where people were not so on board with changes that were happening, or maybe there was real fear about, will I lose my job, and what does this mean for my future, and maybe customers as well? How has it impacted your customers?
Yeah, so number one, you need to listen, you know, to the customers. You need to listen to the people and understand what are the real issues.
Yeah.
You know, why are you resisting? Why do you feel like this is not right?
Yeah.
And then once you understand the challenge, then it is our responsibility as leaders to address it.
Yeah.
And I would say this is the approach we took. And this can only happen through continuous engagement, continuous communication. It's not, you know, one time. It's not just one formula.
Yes.
It's continuous engagement, communicating
Yes.
to the people, which are the staff. But you mentioned about our customers.
Yeah.
I think we've been very successful because as far as this integration was happening, but not too many people really noticed anything.
They might not even know.
They might not even know because, you know, our services are better than ever.
Yeah.
You know,
I can attest to that. I'm a customer.
Oh, thank you. You know, so I think, you know, because we got the right, you know, leadership and the right approach and priorities, this has really helped us sustain, but also we are growing considerably. So, and the expectation is to actually grow much more. We've got great ambition.
Wonderful.
And so overall, that's how we went through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are still Zantel and Tigo as two different brands. So as a customer, I can have a Zantel line, I can have a Tigo line. Is that correct?
We are Tigo Zantel.
You are Tigo Zantel. You are one.
We are one big family.
Right.
That's how we look at it. We are one big family. You get services, you know, whether you've got a Zantel SIM card or a Tigo
It
SIM
all
card.
goes to one central point.
Yeah, so we're one big family.
Yes.
You get basically what, you know, the way we look at it, you get better services.
Yeah.
You get a wider coverage, for example, when it comes to 4G.
Yeah.
So connectivity, you get both in the mainland,
Yeah.
both in the islands.
Yes.
You have a better customer touch point distribution.
Yeah.
More shops.
Yeah.
More wakalas.
More everything.
Yes,
More work
it's
for you
basically-
guys.
It's more everything, definitely. And also a lot more to come.
Yeah.
You know.
That is a very good point. So can you give us some kind of a little sneak peek into what we can expect from the future of Tigo Zantel family? Or Axian Group, what can we expect to see as customers?
Yeah, so we are part of the Axian Telecom Group.
Yeah.
And the ambition of Axian is to become an African and Tanzanian champion in impacting people's lives daily. So basically, to impact as many people as possible positively.
Yeah.
That is the ambition. That is the passion that drives us.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to, I would say, Tanzania in particular, number one is to support the digital transformation of the country and of Tanzania.
Yeah.
And this can only happen through cutting-edge technologies, having the systems in place, you know, having the infrastructure such as, you know, fiber when it comes to connectivity.
Yeah.
The Axian Group also has a number of international infrastructures, submarine cables, which basically help you to get connected on the internet. So this would be the first part, basically to support digital transformation
across all parts of the country.
Exactly, across the country. This is the first thing that Tigo Zantel brings you, having Axian Telecom Group in the country. That would be first. And the second thing would be extending affordable mobile services, and basically also digital inclusion. So what this means is basically we want to make sure that everybody, you know, has connectivity, more 4G throughout the country, and ensuring that you're always connected, you always get the service that you deserve. So this is the second thing you can expect. And the third thing, which is, you know, runs very close to my heart, and also Tigo Zantel, is financial inclusion. Yeah. So through our Tigo Pesa brand, you basically will have better financial inclusion, a lot of investments in IT systems, a lot of innovation happening to ensure that we could actually deliver services that impact people's lives, that touch people's lives. Today, I mean, we are all witnesses of how you could basically do any transaction on your handset.
It's amazing. Don't know how we lived without it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine if it was switched off, you know, for a few hours. You know,
you guys have a lot of power.
Well, it's, I think we are humbly happy to be able to serve customers. Yeah, that's the way we look at it. So we are there to service our customers. So financial inclusion will be the next thing.
Okay.
The fourth, which is very close to my heart again, one of the you know, the things that really touch me, is to develop and nurture talent.
Okay.
So, you know, the Axian Group has got, you know, experience in other markets. We combine that with the experience in our own market, and then we help and develop, you know, the people who actually get the job done. You know, ensuring they have the right training, the right exposure, lessons learned, you know, from the various OPCOs. So this will be at the center to actually ensure that we could continue to deliver the best services for the country. So this is what you could expect, and much more.
I mean, that's a lot. I hope there's a roadmap to getting there. Well, you're already doing a lot of this.
I mean, we're already doing it. I mean, as you said, you witnessed, you know, our services.
Yes.
So I'm happy that you
I'm a happy customer. I'll call you when I'm not. Nice. Thanks for sharing. Looking forward to seeing all of that unfold and experiencing it as well. So I just wanted to ask one more question, and then we're going on the business side, and then we'll go into a little bit more of getting to know you. Talk to me a little bit about the change in what's happening in the telco industry from the perspective of your customers and consumers. From where I'm sitting, I'm feeling that as this Gen Z and Gen Alpha who are coming after them are much more conscious customers. They're very specific about the do's and don'ts. They want things in a particular way. How are you preparing for that, navigating that, or maybe what insights can you share on that?
Yeah, so I think first of all, as you said rightly, we build our product and services from the customers through listening to them, getting information in, paying attention to what do they want. If I look at the industry today, number one, people want to be always connected.
Yes.
Yeah, so people want to be connected in the office, you know, whether it's through emails, whether through its collaborative tools, whether through, an online meeting that has to happen. And then, when they leave the office, heading home, they still want to be connected.
Like all the time.
All the time, exactly. So whether it's through social media and all the other aspects.
Yes.
When they get home, they still want to be connected, You've got streaming services that are very popular nowadays. You got Netflix, you've got Hulu, you've got so many. You've got the kids who want to play online. You know, so it's very clear that they want to be connected. So this actually now drives us to digital. So basically, what I'm seeing now is everything is going digital. The focus is on digital.
And there you are, perfectly positioned.
Exactly. Now, the next part is actually ensuring that all our customer touch points are accessible, are digital.
Yes.
For the ones that are, and then all the other ones as well. Such as shops, the call center. You get information through this, and this is where the conscious of the customer comes into the business, and then we develop our products and services to make sure we can find solutions for our consumers. So that's pretty much what I see in terms of trend, being connected. But what is the industry doing? And this is not only telco, it's basically, I think every industry is going digital. Today is digital, tomorrow is more digital. If I was to sum it up. I would like to, there are four things that I see. One, everybody is pretty much, I would say, leveraging on existing infrastructure. That is, what do you have today? How do I improve performance? How do I deliver on the infrastructure capabilities I have today? As businesses, they've already invested into, I said fiber, base stations, if it's, other types of businesses in computers and so forth. So first and foremost, they exploit, they leverage on the assets that they have to get better performance and be able to meet the customer demands. But then the next part would be, how do you transform? Okay, so how do you transform now to actually meet the requirements of tomorrow, which is what I'm saying. And this would involve transformation into new technologies.
Right.
So,
as in transforming, taking customers on that journey so they understand, or more, what do you mean, or the tech, the software?
So there are two parts. One is the infrastructure itself, which is the software to actually meet the customer demands. So that's the transformation. That's the what I call the exchange. You need to replace.
So you need to switch that off and switch that on for simple technophobes like me.
That would be the easy way. You need to switch that off and then bring in the new one.
And do you tend to phase that? So you have to
you definitely need to phase it. You need to plan it properly, because the service still needs to be always on. Remember?
Of course.
So if you do a switch off, that means the other service has to pick up seamlessly.
Right.
So then the next part is basically exchange, which is the transformation. And then you get to a point whereby you are now really getting digital. You've got the digital highways. You've got your systems now that are digital. Things like cloud. People can access things on their fingertips. And now you are really much exploring. You're figuring out how do I use this digital technology to be able to deliver the products and services to the consumers. And then when you're there, you've got the conscious customer who's demanding more and better. So then you need to innovate. And the innovation is what actually drives your expansion.
Right.
The innovation of, things like Internet of Things, things talking to each other. The innovation of, virtual reality, augmented reality. All this stuff is through innovation. So there's a balance between leveraging on what you have, monetizing that, to exchange, transform
Yeah.
into new technologies,
Yeah.
get digital,
Yeah.
innovate to expand.
Yeah.
So, and this is for me a digital strategy.
Yeah.
You know, you have to evolve around that.
Oh, and it's constant, isn't
and it's
it?
constant, exactly.
You're never there.
You're never really there because the consumers are always, you know, pushing for more. So
Yes.
So we keep on innovating.
And then you have to package the message as well and go, look what we've got.
Yes, you need to do the right marketing.
Yeah.
To make sure actually the consumer understands actually
Yeah.
we have it all.
Yeah.
And this is happening, you know, in the telco sector. I see it happening in the banking sector.
Yeah.
I see it happening even in the hospitality.
Yeah.
You know, I could say I've even seen it happen in a shop that I visited whereby I see a CCTV camera there.
Yeah.
And that's connected, you know.
True.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's literally happening everywhere.
So it's not something we can avoid. It is part of our world.
It is part of our
companies
world.
or organizations that don't evolve or transform are going to become redundant, maybe.
Definitely. That's the blunt way of putting it.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, you know, I am blunt. Great, this is so interesting, and I'm so amazed at how you can articulate all this for tech dummies like me who can't understand what you mean, but you've explained it very, very well. It makes sense.
I'm now in business, so I'm also a tech dummy.
Yeah.
You know, I keep reminding people, you know, I tell them, hey, I'm now in business. I also don't understand that Chinese, you know. So
but you have the background and the passion from what you were saying in your childhood.
I do have the
yeah.
background. I mean, I think that I do have the background, and then, you know, I think I was lucky to have the background.
Yeah.
And now that I'm in business, you know, I'm also getting exposed to the other side.
Yeah.
And that really helps me to be able to translate, understand,
Yeah.
and keep learning.
Yes.
You know, I think
Nice.
for me that's the most important.
Really, truly it is.
Yes.
Nice. So I've got a couple of quickfire questions for you now. This is all about John, okay?
Okay.
So the first thing is, I want to just know, would you call yourself a daredevil? Are you a daring person, or could you play it safe?
Well, so I don't think I'm a daredevil, you know, and the reason I think I'm not a daredevil is because I think I look for a lot of information before I decide.
Okay, so you're calculated.
But, yeah, I'm pretty calculated, you know. I listen actively, you know, trying to understand how things work before I could decide. But I do remember.
Yeah,
I do remember one thing, you know. I think back in the days, I and one of my friends, who we call each other rivals because they support a different football team than I do. And then we said, tomorrow morning, we need to go from Bangalore to Mysore. Now, this is in India.
Yes.
Bangalore to Mysore is around 160 kilometers. It's almost very close to the distance between Dar es Salaam and Morogoro. And we said we're gonna go biking, you know, like with a motorbike.
Oh, okay. I thought
motorbike.
it was a push bike.
No, it was a motorbike. It was a motorbike. And then we just woke up 6 in the morning and drove, you know, close to almost 180 kilometers all the way to Mysore. And then when we got there, you know, we were received, you know, by some of our friends. And I'm like, how did you get there? We rode by bike. Really? That whole distance? Like, yeah. I mean, what made you do that? You know, we just, you know,
we just did it.
We just did it.
Yeah.
And then we spent the day, and then it was 5 o'clock, and they're like, yeah, so, you know, we've prepared, you know, a place for you to sleep. We said, no, we are riding back.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so then we rode back, you know, another, you know, almost 180 kilometers. And, you know, to this day, this is the thing that I remember the most. If I say I was daring because it was not calculated, it was, you know, there was no...
Spontaneous.
It was spontaneous. It was in the
nice.
evening and then in the morning, you know. So I would say that's the most daring thing. It might not be so daredevil-like, but it's the most...
It is, you know, for me. I mean, riding motorbikes is not a joke. It's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, you need to be careful.
Survived.
You need to be careful, yeah.
Okay, so somewhere in the middle, maybe, or
Probably.
maybe you used to be.
Probably.
So I'm interested to know. You sound like such a well-rounded person. Does your family, kind of in your upbringing, do you have any kind of like motto that you live by, or I don't know, something that guides you?
Yeah, so I had parents who were very hardworking to begin with. So I think that supported me to understand that you need to work hard.
Yeah.
But they also gave us a lot of freedom to explore and learn.
Yeah.
Guided us, but gave us freedom.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I always remember my father always saying, you know, the sky is not the limit. And then I was trying to understand, what does he mean? And then he goes further and says, even if you get, you know, 101% of something, don't be complacent.
Yeah.
And then I came up with my own, you know, I appended to basically what my dad said. And so in my head, I always say, the sky is not the limit. seek the ends of the universe. So I'm still seeking the ends of the universe.
Wow, and that will never stop,
And
right?
that will never stop. So,
Wow.
so I would say this is, you know, something that probably is embedded within the family.
Yeah.
And something I've held on to this day.
That's very special.
Yeah.
It's good. It's something to drive you. It's that growth mindset. Keep going.
Yeah.
Very nice. And let's just go to the music round. What's your favorite song, or what song is kind of like the soundtrack to your life so far?
So I listen, you know, I like beats. Most people who know me up close, they know I like to dance.
Okay.
I do. So
That's good.
yeah, so I like things with music.
Yeah.
There's this song by the Beatles called "We Can Work It Out."
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that song. We Can Work
I
It Out.
definitely know the Beatles, but
Yeah, the
I don't know
Beatles.
the song.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go listen to it now.
so it's called "We Can Work It Out." What I like about that song is basically, I think the writers back then had some sort of an argument of how do we write the song, and then in the end they were like, you write one side and then I write the other, and then it became a song.
Merged it.
But the whole idea is we could always resolve things.
Yeah.
And I believe we can always resolve things. We need to, you know, as I said, listen to each other. It's not my perspective or your perspective. It's the right, you know, perspective, the right thing. So for me, We Can Work It Out is something that really resonates with me.
Nice.
And I think Father, I also recall, I think even there are other revisions as well. Paul McCartney, I think, also sang that one.
Yeah.
So I think that's one song that really touches me.
That's really cool. I'm going to have to listen to it now. But I think I like the message. It's kind of like, we can both be right, we can both be wrong. Sometimes there's no right and wrong.
Yeah.
John, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you. I think we could do another half-hour chat. Maybe we'll have to bring you back to the Yellow Couch. But I just wanted to leave you with the final word to our audience. Maybe you can leave us with a nugget of wisdom or something to chew over for the next week. Over to you.
All right, so thank you. I mean, if there's one thing that I was to say, as leaders, we are responsible for developing and nurturing talent. It's very important that we develop everyone, we grow together, and this, I think, is the only way that you as a leader can grow, the organization can grow, and it's good for everyone, the people, the country, and the world at large. Asante.
Thank you, John. Thank you for the inspiration. I'm so inspired by you. I think many people will be, and we look forward to watching the journey of Tigo Zantel, but also your journey as you continue to grow in your career.
Asante.
Keep in touch.
Thank you.
And do come back and visit us.
I will.
For those of you who enjoyed the talk, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also visit our website, empower.co.tz. You can also follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and the other one, Facebook, right? At Empower Limited. Take care. See you next time.